91% of Monroe County graduates either went on to college, military, or technical school. Now, 88% of those Monroe County graduates went on to college alone. It's important to keep those numbers up, so it's important to elect the right officials to the school board. Before we go today, I'm going to spend some time talking with one of your candidates for School Board District 2. Andy, thank you for being on the show with me today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Now, Andy, I understand that you have 20 years experience with the school board, and you actually spearheaded the superintendent search.
Yes, and I've got the scars to prove that experience. A lot of negative headlines lately because after the scandal we had a few years ago, it seems like if we spend $5, it's front page news, whereas 5 years ago that would never have happened. But we do have some really big news, and that is the first board-hired superintendent in the history of Monroe County. The superintendents here have always been elected. That doesn't mean necessarily you have to be qualified, you just need to be able to get elected to be the superintendent of schools. And then since the scandal, we've had a number of superintendents, like one every year. So even though those numbers are high, that gives to show you the quality of the staff that works for the district of Monroe County. And just think, if we had the same qualified superintendent in place for a number of years, what great gains we could make, and what a great, I think we could go from a good school system, we're ranked 9th in the state out of 67, we could go from, we're an A district 7 years in a row, that we could really go from a good school district to a great school district with this new accountability model of superintendent accountable to the school board for results.
Okay, and now Andy, obviously since you have that 20 years of experience and that's what you want to see happen, you're very passionate about the school board.
Oh, I really am. I mean, I was getting very worried because I saw the window of opportunity to hire the superintendent closed, because you have to get your advertisements out there in the journals in early summer. That's when superintendents are usually looking for a job, looking to advance or move up. And so I was getting nervous in late April, so I called a friend of mine, Dr. Wayne Blanton, the executive director of the Florida School Board Association. I've known him for a number of years. I was the past president of the state association in 2003, so I have a lot of state contacts. And I said, Wayne, can you come down and give a workshop for Monroe County, and I'll invite some people, and maybe you can explain to the community, outline how we go about selecting our first superintendent. So Wayne agreed to do that, and I invited 40 people, some of the best minds, I think, in Monroe County that were interested in this issue. So 40 people came to the workshop. After the workshop, Wayne did a good job. We formed a selection committee, a search committee, and they made scores of phone calls checking out these people. They were well vetted, and each member of that committee that spoke with me said it was the best experience they'd ever had on a committee, that it just works so well because it's such a wonderful group of powerful, intelligent people that work so well together. And in 2 months and 2 weeks, they delivered their final 5 to the school board, and we made our selection on a 4-to-1 vote just a couple of weeks ago.
Well, wonderful. And a lot of people are very happy with that choice, so you did a good job on that.
I think the committee was delighted, 4/5 of the school board was delighted, but also Mr. Dick was the lone vote. But he's totally on board with Mr. Porter and supports Mr. Porter and is excited about going forward with Mr. Porter.
Okay, wonderful. Now, Andy, let's talk about if you were to get reelected to the position on school board, what would be your goals, main goals?
Well, you know, we are 9th in the state, and we have a good school system. But one of my goals was to get this hired superintendent on board. It would be held accountable by the school board for positive outcomes for kids. So if we direct him to say we want to be #1 in the state of Florida, and that we want, you know, to account for every student to be successful after they leave our system, that would be a great goal to have. And I think we also need to continue to pay our teachers the top salaries in the state of Florida. We pay our teachers the top salaries in the state of Florida, entry level, exit level, all levels, 5 years running. We need to keep doing that because we need to be competitive to keep quality in the classroom. So those teacher salaries are very important. And I know it probably doesn't go far enough because it's a very high cost of living area, but it's better than not being the best #1 paid in the state of Florida. So I think we need to maintain that status.
Okay. And what would you like to see change, Andy? Because obviously you have that 20 years of experience, so there has to be some things you're not happy with.
Well, one of the things I think we may need to do is change our hiring process. Over a number of years, superintendents without human resources experience have allowed a close circle of people in the system at the administrative level vet candidates and then recommend to the superintendent who we hire. I think a superintendent like Mr. Porter, who has human resources experience, could maybe take a look at that process to make sure he's getting the very best choices presented to him so that he can fill positions. I think that's a critical change that I think we could improve that process.
Okay. Now, if people want more information about you, Andy, I know you're on Facebook, correct?
Yes,
And
Andy Griffiths for School Board, not the group, but Andy Griffiths for School Board on Facebook, and I post there almost every day about things that I'm doing and forums that are coming up and meet and greets and that kind of thing.
And there's also information about Andy on his website.
And that's voteandy2012.com.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing all of this
thank you very much.
with our viewers this morning. And that's going to do it for us today, everyone. I will be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. and again at 8:30 a.m. Take care and have a great rest of your day.